Hi everyone, Internet Vicious Book Reader here. Today I want to talk about manga stories by Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami, I think, is currently one of the most famous Japanese literature author. He's done so much work, including Kafka on the Shore, an intense magical realism, and a retelling of Sophocles' Oedipus, which involved Oedipus accidentally being married to his own mother. That also kinda happened in Kafka on the Shore, along with an old man who can talk to a cat and cause the weather to rain fish. Then there's Norwegian Wood that put him into stardom. A story about a boy coming of age in 60s Tokyo and his complex romance with his childhood friend and with the new friend he met in Tokyo. He also made so much short stories. Norwegian Wood itself is one of the short stories that is later expanded into the novel Norwegian Wood. Drive My Car that won an Oscar award is also a story taken from his short stories, and this book, Manga Stories, is also another one of his short stories adaptation which include 4 stories. The book starts with Super Frog Saves Tokyo. A regular salaryman walks back to his home after going to the combini when a giant man-sized frog greets him from inside his house. He introduces himself as Frog and tells Katakiri to not be afraid and make himself at home. Since Katakiri is still shocked speechless, the frog gives him some water to drink while he explains why he breaks into his house. The frog is here for an important matter, and after some short conversation, the frog finally tells our salaryman that he came here to save Tokyo from destruction, an earthquake kind of destruction. It's going to be worse than Kobe's earthquake, and just as in Shin Godzilla, the government will be useless about it. The reason why Mr. Frog goes to Katagiri's house is because the earthquake epicenter will be right beneath his office, so he will need Katagiri's help to go to the office basement to battle the worm that will cause the earthquake. He also needs a partner that will encourage him, shouting "Gambate" while he's fighting the phone. To prove that Mr. Frog is not just a hallucination from a middle-aged loner like Katakiri, the frog visited one of his clients and completed his unfinished business there. Katakiri agreed to help. They had a few drinks, and when Katakiri went back home to prepare for tomorrow, he got gunned down in the middle of the street of Japan. He woke up in the hospital with no gun wound and no earthquake. When the nurse is out of the room, Mr. Frog appears again, telling Katakiri about his fight with the worm. The frog managed to wound the worm and prevent the earthquake, but the injury he got eventually killed him, and hundreds of thousands of bugs came out of him and attacked Katagiri. Because Katagiri makes so much noise, the nurse comes in to check the commotion in the room, and that's when everything is gone. Mr. Frog, the bug, everything is gone. Only a normal hospital room is left. The nurse sedates Katagiri to calm him down, and he goes back to sleep. That's Super Frog Saves Tokyo. It's one of the stories that showcases Murakami's masterful use of symbolism and magical realism. It of course has some sex scenes because it's a story from Murakami after all. The story can just be it's all in the head from Katagiri, and everything that the frog did with him is something he did himself, like boiling water, clearing out clients' assignment, and the rest is his overactive imagination. It could also be commentary about how men in middle age can so often get a main character syndrome, that they're the chosen one that will save the world, when in reality they're just overworked salarymen that's about to pass out on the street and woke up on a hospital bed. Or everything could even be real. Mr. Frog does exist, and Katakiri does help him prevent a devastating earthquake. One of the best things about Murakami is this different interpretation of a story after all, where everything can mostly goes. And since this is a collection of short stories, the book is not over yet. We go to the next story's title, where I'm likely to find it. It's a really cool way that the style of the art kinda changed here. If Super Frog Saves Tokyo have this gritty and grungy kinda style that reminds me of Dorohedoro, the second story got that noir vibe going on with black and white, which makes sense since the story involves a volunteer detective that specializes in finding missing people. And this time he got a case from a wife that is looking for his husband that has gone missing between the 24th and the 26th floor of their apartment. He goes into the apartment so much that he becomes closer to the security at the front door. The case eventually ends with the husband being found not remembering where he's been outside of town. And since this is a Haruki Murakami work, of course there's casual mention of oral sex, Winnie, and girls' underpants. Then we go to the third story titled Birthday Girl, where the art I think did a more subtle change where the color is warmer compared to the first story. The story itself is about the main character telling a story about her birthday when she was 20. Back then, she used to work in a restaurant where the manager had to send some chicken to the restaurant owner every day. But one day he got sick and cannot send the chicken to the owner, so he asked our main character to go get the usual chicken to the owner. There we get to know that it's her birthday, and the owner will grant one wish, any wish for her. The wish is never blatantly mentioned in the story, but we can still kinda guess from the context of the story. Then we go to the last story, The Seven Men. The main character was playing a game where everyone sat in a circle with a candle in front of them, and each of them tells a story, then blow their candle. He started telling a story about his past when he lived in a small seaside town. There he is friends with a boy named Kay that had a speech impediment, but a pure and gentle heart. Because of his speech impediment, he didn't do that well at school, but he liked painting and had a lot of talent for it. But one day a typhoon came near the town and everyone was stuck inside their house. When the typhoon is over, our main character goes to the beach with Kay despite everyone warning to stay out of them. When a massive wave suddenly washed over the beach, our main character escaped, leaving his only friend Kay to get swept away by the wave. And that's all the story. Honestly, it's quite good. If you want to feel the vibe of the usual Haruki Murakami stories, this is a really good entry point. You can really feel that it's a story written by a dude since the female characters are mostly so obviously written from a male perspective even when they're the main character. There's also usually mention of classic literature, usually either Dostoevsky, which did not make an appearance here, but we do have Tolstoy and Dickens mentioned in a separate story. There's also usually music, which then usually mention jazz musician. It's because Murakami is an author that inserts so much of himself into his story. That's why he read a lot of his novel, the main character or a few characters can really feel like they're the same person across different stories. Which if you're okay with a few of those flaws here and there, usually stories have a certain charm to them that you won't find anywhere else. For the title, I'm not sure if manga is like anime where it's just literally Japanese for animation. Maybe manga is just Japanese for comic. If not, this feels more like a comic instead of manga with the pages read from left to right instead of right to left. The only thing that resembles manga is the onomatopoeia that is used, for example like here. The smokes from cigarettes goes yura yura and moku moku. And beside that, every story is located in Japan, which you can see from the location mentioned and signs with Japanese letter here and there. For the art style is very French graphic novel. It's by Jean-Christophe Devanny, which he did a really great job adjusting to the art style for his stories here. He also brings Murakami use of magical realism in his stories so well, by adding so much detail to them. Like when Mr. Frog drinks some tea, his pinky went like this. Although just as a heads up, most of these short stories does end up in some kind of fade to black kind of ending. Super Frog Save Tokyo had Katakiri's hospital death going darker and darker, and the seventh man ends with the main character blowing his candle. But to be fair, that is how most short stories ends. If you're a fan of Haruki Murakami or new to his work, I think you should give this book a try. I give this a 4.25. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.